What's up, guys? Back here with a video for you. This is going to be an absolutely enormous collection update. So if you guys got some time, feel free to sit around with me here. I am going to be chugging through every bit of 40 CDs at least. I'll do the actual count and probably put it in the title so you'll know ahead of time. But yeah, it's all kinds of metal, couple things that are punk rock, a couple folk things thrown in there. And yeah, I'm just going to cut on into it because it's already going to be long enough. We are listening to Crepuscule de Hiver. And I am not 100% sure how to pronounce this album title, but it's really good. It's basically if Summoning was a lot more grim, stylistically at least, like the older Summoning, but not Lugbers. It's really, really good stuff. If you like what you hear in the background. So, I'm just going to cut on into it. Drinking Avarka beer. Very good. This is the stronger one, I believe. Or no, it's just the dark one. It's very good. It's like a Polish malt liquor. Very good stuff. Big fan. Very tasty. So, first thing I got here is the new Darkwood's My Betrothed, Angel of Carnage Unleashed. This is absolutely killer. I absolutely love this new album. This is definitely going to be placing on my end of the year list with these guys. It's the first album from these guys in 20 some odd years, I think, and it's stellar. It's mildly symphonic, it's quick, it's basically what I wish Dimmu Borgir was now, and it's a good melodic black metal album, symphonic melodic black metal album. I don't want to talk too much about it because it'll be on the end of the year list. So yeah, Darkwood's My Betrothed. Next, another EP, an EP from this year. This is the band Shadow Strike with Fables and Folklore. I picked this up off of an ad, I think maybe on Instagram. I saw the cover and I was like, well, hello there. And yeah, check that out, man. It's like a wizard smoking a pipe in a big old Alice in Wonderland looking kind of forest, and you could probably figure out what this sounds like. It's good power metal. Again, don't want to talk too much. It's 2021. There'll be a bunch of those in here, so that might happen quite a few times. My buddy Steve put me onto this one here, and I bought this and the LP. You'll see in an update here pretty soon. This is Great Piccolo, or whatever you say this as, with Musta Ceremonia. Great old school Finnish death metal. Textbook kind of doomy. The production on it might not be the greatest thing in the world, especially for a style with such a low sound to it. It's a great record though. It's a classic old school death metal album. Next, another classic album, Metal Heart by Accept. I've been wanting to be an Accept fan for a number of years now, and I just never got around to getting into it. What the deal is, I have no idea. I had one of their records when I was younger, and I didn't like it all that much, so I sold it. But I wanted to try again, and I like this a whole lot. My fiance really likes this as well too. We were listening to it in my truck, and she like, this sounds like a little angrier AC/DC. Accept. Next, a funeral doom band. This is Erna with Sepulchrum. This is, I believe, an Italian funeral doom metal band. Sorry, I got a hair on there. And it's just suffocating. Absolute and total hellscape, man. This is just a stellar, dismal dungeon darkness. Absolute and total suffocation of an album. Yeah, it's straight up hellscape. This is exactly what it sounds like. Before I keep going, I forgot to show two things that aren't CDs that I meant to show. This first thing is a flag that I wanted to get for my room tour, but it showed up the day after I posted my room tour. So that's really annoying. But this is Rhapsody, Symphonies of Enchanted Lands flag. Raul Serrano sent me the link to pick this up. I asked him on Instagram So thank you, Raul. You're the man. Came with a couple cards, wrist merchandise out of Italy. Very good. It came in a decently quick fashion. It's about as much as you could expect at this point. And I picked this shirt off of Canyon Bickle. Yeah, I bought this off of him. This is Exhumed Gore Metal t-shirt. Sick killer t-shirt. Saw as the law about the 50th band to use that quote. But obviously I think the first was Sodom. Yeah, great shirt. Great to have in the collection. One of the few grind bands I actually care about. Next, another 2021 album. This is the second Floth album. Floth is the side project of the guy behind Sayor. It's a great record. It's a lot more straightforward than the last one. The last one I liked more, but yeah, this would be good for now on this one. I'll talk about it later. I'll talk about this one later too. It's Cannibal Corpse's Violence Unimagined, the new one. Let's see, a non-2021 release, thankfully. This is Concierto Moons with Destruction and Creation. This is a Japanese symphonic power metal band. This is great. I believe this is their first album from 1997. See, it's a Japanese pressing. You get the little Obi looking strip kind of deal. This is a great record. I sold off some crap to the record store, and he gave me store credit. And when I get store credit, I like to spend the money on stuff that I wouldn't usually want to dish out cash for, because, you know, it's kind of like cash you almost wouldn't have. So I shelled out the near $30 to get a hold of this, because I really like this band quite a bit. Happy to have it in the collection. Next, a buddy of mine's band, but it is a 2021 release. This is Silence is Eternal by Free Denstal. He sent me a little note with it too. Thanks again. Yeah, I'll be talking about this more in my end of the year list. Next, finally picked this up. This is Dawnbearer by Hex Vessel. Hex Vessel is a Finnish psychedelic rock band kind of thing. It's really good. I really like their music. It's really kind of spooky, but it keeps the spirit of rock. And again, my fiance liked it. I actually was listening to this in the truck, and she went ahead and downloaded it on her phone, and that says something if she actually does that. But this is a lot more of a straight up folk record in comparison to a couple of their other records. Especially like When We Are in Death, or When We Are Deaf and stuff like that. Yeah, great record. Next, Tales of Creation by Candlemass. This is the last Messiah Miracle album that I needed. Huge fan. A little quicker than the other Candlemass material, but I adore this stuff. I've been wanting this for a long while. I put this on the speakers at the skate park the other month at this point, because it's cold. The homies seem to like it. Candlemass is great. Next. Ooh, an A5 Digipack. This is Ulfvin by Arab Altor. You guys have heard me gush about this band before. I purchased this specific one because I thought it was supposed to come with a patch, which again, I think it's still supposed to, but I bought it used and I didn't get the patch, so I'm mildly irritated about that. The booklet, yeah, it's not in the booklet, but Arab Altor is a Swedish band. They used to play like kind of Black and Doom, but not like spooky Black Doom, like epic Black Doom. Great stuff, like Candlemass and Viking Bathory kind of together. This is more of a folky black metal album, and it's great. This band's absolutely stellar. I really like their stuff. You guys should definitely check out Arab Altor. I'm still on the hunt for one of their patches. Next, Scriptures by Benediction. I missed this last year. I didn't buy it, but man, am I hyped to have this. I went to the exclusive company on Black Friday and got a huge deal on a lot of this stuff, and this is the first thing I listened to, and I am just so happy to have some Benediction in the collection. I will be getting some other stuff soon enough. Give me a little time. I'm going into money saver mode come the new year, so. Next, another one I don't want to talk a lot about until my end of the year list. Wolves in the Throne Room with Primordial Arcana. Just got the Jewel Case edition. It's just the one that I picked up. I think there was also a Digipack, but again, I don't care. I prefer Jewel Case to Digipack every day of the week. Wolves in the Throne Room, talk about it later. These next 5 are from a band I saw at the Renaissance Fair. This is a folk punk band called The Langer's Ball. So these are like a folk punk, kind of steamy punk feeling band. They use those aesthetics at least. They don't sound like that. I went and looked up some steampunk music. I don't like that, but this is a lot better. This one's a standout for me. This is just the guitar player and the like multi-instrumentalist, like tin whistle player and fiddle player, mandolin player, doing like traditional folk songs and old fiddle tunes. It's really, really cool. Really glad to have this in the collection. Next, Ben Smasher has been gushing about this band for the past couple of years. It is the second Ring of Power by Unholy. Unholy is a death doom band out of Sweden? Finland. Yeah, they're Finnish. Great album. It's got some gothy tinges to it, maybe. 94, so I don't think they would have been listening to much Typo Negative. Maybe they were, but they were definitely hitting on that goth feel a little bit with this really weird, doomy-ish death metal. It's pretty doomy. It's not all that deathy, I would say. It's more doom, but it's got a great amount of death metal in there, too. It's a great album. Unholy rules. Next 3 are from the same band. Sortelage. This is their self-titled EP. This is Metamorphosis, and this is Hero's Tears. I picked up all 3 of these off eBay. I'm gonna level with you. These are definitely bootlegs, 150%. But I got them, and I'm hyped on it, so whatever. Great little EP. This is a top shelf album. This is like borderline power metal in a lot of ways. And it's stellar. I absolutely adore this sort of stuff. And this one, they were tinging on some more mainstream feels on this one. I know that's what they were going for. At least from what I've heard. But it's a good record, man. I mean, it doesn't sound like Dokken or anything. I mean, I listen to Dokken, but it's not that. It's way better than that. So yeah, Sortelage. Next, I picked up the reissue of the first Borknagar album at the record store. It was like 15% off or 10% off all like unused CDs, and then 50% off all used CDs. So you guys know I went crazy. But it's a stellar album. I mean, it's early Norwegian black metal, and the second disc is just bonus material, you know, rehearsals, alternate mixes, all that kind of fun stuff. But I believe this is, it's remastered in 2021. I don't really know what the original master sounds like, but this is pretty good. But the album itself is stellar. Absolutely stellar album. You guys have all heard that. I mean, come on. Next. This has been a joke between me and my buddies for many, many years. This is Buried in the Front Yard by Rumpelstiltskin Grinder. So we kept seeing this name popping up in the used bin at the store we went to, and it's just absolutely hilarious looking. So this is a thrash metal band with some kind of just joking qualities to them. They're just kind of goofy all around. It's an awful lot of fun. I went to pick it up a year or two ago and it was gone. So they must have gotten another copy in, and I'm happy they did because I picked it up. If the band photo's anything to describe how they treat this band, they're playing basketball with a human skull. So yeah, that's Rumpelstiltskin Grinder. Next, Another new album, won't get much talk about here. Halloween, I got the special edition, even though I'll probably never play the second disc. But I think it was either Marty Worm or Alan in one of the Metallurgy things, say that the best song on the record is, I think, Golden Times or Save My Hide, so I'll probably give it another listen again before I start solidifying my list. Great album. Next, one of my favorite black metal albums ever. Hands down, easy 150% one of the best black metal albums ever. This is Tahoma by Alda. I am head over heels in love with this album. In the likes of, Caladan Brood and Panopticon and stuff like that. It's such a beautiful, beautiful album. It's almost a nostalgia trip every time I listen to this. Because when I got into this, it was just a time where I was having nothing but fun constantly. I was still in college, but I had a part-time job, so I had no real stress other than, honestly, I never studied for school. I have a college degree. I can admit that. I never did any studying. There's no need for that garbage. I don't know. You show up, you do your homework, you go home, you're done. All the. Next, Nosferatu by Hellstar. Another great, stellar band. I'm a huge fan of Hellstar. I really like this album quite a bit. It's got a little bit more thrashiness to it, rather than just being this kind of speed metal band that they kind of were, proto-power metal, maybe you'd say. This is probably about at par with A Distant Thunder. I know A Distant Thunder quite a bit more, so I would say I like that more, but give it time. I think they run in the same club. Next, 2 CDs by a band I picked up at a St. Vincent de Paul resale shop. This is Nailed Dead Risen and There Will Be Violence by Impending Doom. This is a deathcore band from, I have no idea, somewhere in the United States, I think maybe Massachusetts. I gotta take those stickers off eventually. We'll see if I actually remember to do it. But these are great. This one is more of an old school kind of brutal death metal, early 2000s kind of death metal style, and this one's a lot more straight up deathcore. It's a decent album. I'll listen to it eventually again, but this is the standout for me. This is just violent and bludgeoning and absolutely amazing. Big fan of that early album specifically. 2 albums by a band that I've been slowly becoming a pretty big fan of. This is Reach for the Sky and Invasion of Your Privacy by Rat. I saw the vocalist for Rat, which his name is escaping me currently. Yeah, Stephen Piercy. I saw him open for Ace Frehley at a local festival several years ago at this point, and I liked it quite a bit, and then I just kind of stuck it off to the side, and I've just recently been getting into this kind of music properly, rather than just passively listening to it, Great stuff. I'm really hyped to have this Rat in the collection. Next, to try to get some cult points back from showing Rat and deathcore. This is Amongst the Flames of a Burning God by Diocletian. Their 2019 full-length, great Australian blackened death metal. This is featuring Impurath from Black Witchery on vocals, so that's a really cool addition to the band. I've always really liked Impurath's vocals. What else is he in? Denouncement Pyre, I think, where he's doing vocals. Really, really awesome. It's a great record. It's everything you'd expect out of something that sounds like that. So if you like Black Witchery and you haven't heard Diocletian or you haven't heard this album, go check that out. Stellar album from this year. Eternal Hails by Dark Throne. Boys are continuing chugging along, making good tunes. I'll talk about it again later. This is a classic album I've been meaning to get and I just haven't. This is Refuge Denied by Sanctuary. Everybody's always comparing this to Sabotage, and if you're going to tell me, oh man, you like Sabotage, you got to get on that Sanctuary, I'm probably going to be like, alright, let's try it. And I like it. I like it quite a bit. It's not as good as Sabotage, but it's a really, really good album. yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the singer's vocals. What's the freaking guy's name? Warrell Dane. Not a huge fan of Warrell Dane's vocals. But this is a great kind of power proto speed proto power metal band. Good stuff. Wrong pile. Next, a folk project that I'm a huge fan of. Woodfall came out a couple years ago. I waited too long to get it, and now it's selling for like $40. If anybody has a copy of Woodfall by Muskox, let me know. I will buy it off of you if it's a reasonable price. But this is Inheritance by Muskox. This is a new album from this year, and it is absolutely stellar. It is gorgeous beyond belief and incredibly beautiful. Muskox makes this really string-driven kind of neo-folk, and it's just absolutely unreal. You guys should go listen to this stuff. Next, my buddy just picked this up and he's like, hey, you should check this out. And it was like $6 or $7 and then 50% off, so I paid like $2 or $3, $2.50, $3, something like that. And Steel, Capulation 2013. This is some Polish black metal goodness. It is feral. It is very similar in style to stuff like Marduk. So if you like Marduk, you'll probably like this. It's really aggressive. But it's not as like death metal driven like Marduk would be. It's just a great album. You guys should definitely check this out if you have not. And Steel from Poland. Next. Sorry, my throat's kind of hurting. Whitesnake, with the self-titled Whitesnake. Just, you know, more stuff that I'm just getting to be a bigger fan of as the days go by. I really enjoy this kind of, you know, hard rock and heavy metal stuff from the 80s. You guys have all heard Whitesnake. Here's another 2021 release. This is The Tritonus Bell by Hooded Menace. Absolutely great. I will go into further detail eventually. Next, a band that I've been wanting to get into for a number of years and just have not. But this is The Black House by Krieg. Krieg is a staple in American black metal, and I put this on while cooking the other day, which basically my two main ways of listening is cooking, driving, and playing Skyrim. So those are my three ways, actually. So if you fit one of those three really well, I'm going to be into it. So Krieg is basically, this album at least, is an absolute blast fest. Absolutely constant blast beats. Occasionally they'll derive, but man, if this album's 30 minutes long, 25 of this minute is blast beats. It's a good album. That gets old for me real quick, but it's a good record. Another classic that I've just been filling in holes, Bloody Kisses by Typo Negative. It's just an absolute classic doom metal album. This is about as industrial as I get. It's about as goth as I get. It's a great record though. 100% would recommend. Next, speaking of, this is Dead Winter Dead by Sabotage. One of my favorite bands ever. This is a lot different. They don't have John Olivia doing the main vocals. They have a new guy. I don't remember the fella's name, but John Olivia takes more of the keyboard role and singing backup and doing additional vocals. And it's a pretty good album. It sounds like it looks. It looks cold. It looks like it's made out of concrete. This album sounds like it's made out of concrete. It's a great record. Sabotage. It's a lot more proggy. It's a lot less speed metal, a lot less metal in general. I recently had a discussion about this band, and I've been wanting to get into them. This is Tullus with Cold Core Collection. This is, I think, the first two Tullus albums. Let me verify. Plus some demos and compilations. Yeah, okay, so the first disc is Pure Black Energy and then Mysterion. And then the next disc is unreleased studio stuff from 91, the Samilarian Camera demo, the Mid-Tevermain demo, and some unreleased cover songs of them doing stuff like Slowly We Rot and Space Oddity. I don't know who Space Oddity is by, but obviously Slowly We Rot is Obituary. So that's entertaining to hear them do Obituary. But this is a great record. Definitely get this, man. This is worth having. I paid like $10 for this. It's 2 albums, a bunch of demos, and I don't know any other way to get the tallest demos. And obviously, if you know this band, you know they went on to be the band Kold, Khold from Norway. It's very similar in style. This band has a lot of grooves rather than blasting 24/7, which I truly do appreciate. Classic, Holy Diver. There's nothing I could say to you that you don't know about this. Next, Isbark, the first Mork album from 2007, and I believe, or it's 2003, I think this one came out. I don't know, maybe it's not the first Mork album. I don't remember. It's a lot to keep track of here if you couldn't tell. This is the 2018 repress on Peaceville. I picked this up at Reckless Records in downtown Chicago. I went to see the Dead South there and all that, so I went and went over there on the way to the venue. This is a good album. It's just old school Norsecore, Norwegian black metal, as you would expect it. A little slower, maybe, I would say. Next, Look What the Cat Dragged In by Poison. Gotta have it. How do you not love it? Poison's a lot of fun. I've always loved hair metal, and this has always been the go-to band. So just filling in the classic albums. Speaking of classics, Friend of Hell by Witchfinder General. I showed this in my Chromium Dioxide entry, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. You guys have all heard this. No Time to Bleed by Suicide Silence. Another quick pickup. I also think I picked this up at Reckless Records for a couple of bucks. How do you not? I mean, it's a good record. It's a ton of fun. It opens with the song Wake Up. It's got Smoke, the song No Time to Bleed, Suffer, Wasted, Genocide, Disengaged. Dun, 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 dun. It's a great record. Heavy beyond belief. Next, Night at the Opera by Blind Guardian. I'm just filling in holes on the Blind Guardian collection. I don't love this one as much as the earlier material, and who does, honestly? Great record. Now we're talking classics again. Black Thrash Attack by Or Noir. One of the greatest bands in black metal history. Obviously Black Thrash featuring Apollyon of Immortal, classic 1997 album. You gotta have it. If you don't own this and you're a metalhead, you're doing something wrong. Get on Or Noir, ASAP. Next is a band that I've heard about and I've known about for probably a decade, and I just never got into or never bothered really checking out. It's just the self-titled Grand Magus. And honestly, I'm kind of disappointed. I was really hoping this would be like an epic doom metal band. Like, I thought Candlemass was a similar sounding band to this. Like, that's what the Metal Archives told me. So I was expecting that. And then I listen, and it's just sludge metal riffs with a guy who can't sing really well, so he kind of half yells, and I'm just not too into it. I'll keep it around, maybe try it again at another date, but it's not happening for me right now. I will hopefully grow to love it one of these years, though. Next, the Dead Kennedys. Plastic Surgery Disaster and In God We Trust Incorporated. Classic punk rock album. Absolute ton of fun. Put this on while you're cooking. You wind up, dropping onions on the ground. Where did the freaking punk go? There we go. Next, classic album, Rainbow. Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, self-titled. This is a stellar album. I absolutely love Rainbow. But my favorite tune on here is The Temple of the King. But it's a gold standard album. And the last thing is another 2021 album. This is Existence is Futile by Cradle of Filth, the new one from 2021. It's a good album. I will talk about it more later on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very, very long update. Not as long as I've done in the past, but I'm very glad to have gotten out of the way so I could put all this on my shelf. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep it greasy.